what's been going on the local, on the global, all across the horizon. At the rising of the dawn to the setting of the sun, when the night creepeth in, more and more havoc is run. DMC, do more crazy things, get done while you sleep. It's the turning of a chapter, the end as we speak. Too much BS on the regular, causing all the secular, segregating energy. The world needs an editor, scripted on a regular, building up the reservoir, not heading for the jugular, restructuring the cellular. I'm telling you, not sparing you, enlightening you, not biting. Are you ready for the truth? Take a look all around you.
Lately I've been wondering about what's been going on. We be pushing, eventually it's gone. On a daily I've been wondering what's been going on. We be pushing, eventually it's gone.
Love it.
Oh my lover, oh my lover.
Oh, I like this part.
I love it. Come on, break it down. Oh,
Join us. Couldn't take my eyes off of you. Alrighty. Woo, I love that. Bula. Bula, my Fijian brother and sister. And all our friends. How are you all? Good
So
to see
good.
you. Hi,
Good to be
Melanie.
back.
Hi, Issy. Hi,
good
everybody.
to see you both.
Good to see you.
Nice song to start with.
Yeah, you like that song, Sev. Oh, I better take it was by Jaro Local, My Lover.
Very nice.
Whakalofala Yatu, I'm MJ, joining you from Matavai Pacific Cultural Arts. I'm the co-director of Matavai. I'm so honored to be here today. I'm joining you on Darawa land. Hi, Trey. Hi, Sev.
How are you?
Hello,
Good to see you. Thank you for joining us for our 8th installment of Oceania 2, a platform created to share information, ideas, and resources from our Pasefika communities here in New South Wales and beyond. We are streaming on Matavai Cultural Arts and Fiji Day Sydney page. And please share with us your comments, your thoughts, share some love, and also be sure to tell us where you're coming in from and joining the conversation with us. So thank you for joining us, and great to see you both, ladies.
Yes, it's been so long. Hi, everyone. Great to be joining you from Darug lands. It's so stoic, my introduction. Well, you know, it's been a couple of weeks and good to see you both, all right, getting back into the groove of things. And apologies, everyone. I know you missed us. We missed you all as well. You know, we didn't have our show last week. As you know, everything is opening up in New
Did
South
we tell
Wales.
anybody?
And we're operating, yes, we did our posts and let people know. And we're operating almost at full capacity here in New South Wales. And each one of us, you know, we've got commitments, but, you know, we're going to change things up a bit, and we'll be moving to fortnightly. So, you know, we're here this week and we won't be next week, but we'll continue to post and share. And, you know, we've got 8 episodes. I mean, this will be our 8th one. So if you've missed any of them, feel free to, you know, check the other ones out. You know,
there's been some doozy ones. There's been some good ones and there've been some doozy ones.
But we've had fun, and that's the main thing.
Yes.
Anyways, yeah, so, you know, it's good to be back. Missed you both, and thrilled to be hanging out on social media again, live and direct, where anything can happen.
Yes. Hi, Joe. How are you up there in the Northern Territory? Hopefully the borders will open soon and we can come visit you. Don't forget, Joe.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I miss you both too. I'm really happy to be back. I was really looking forward to jumping on tonight. It's like, have a little bit of fun and talk about things that we're passionate about. Well, the last couple of days have been quite crazy. In fact, the whole year in general, everything just seems to mush in together. We were talking about that, how we've just got no sense of time anymore. I can't even recall what happened last month, let alone, it's just the way things are at the moment anyway. So one day, it doesn't seem to be like the next day since we opened up at Matavai. There's always something popping up out of the blue nowadays. So you've just got to really adapt and run with whatever comes your way, to be honest. But yeah, COVID is still being a damn nuisance. But anyway, we'll talk about a little bit more about that later. What's on the show tonight, Seb? That's what's most important.
Yes, well, coming up tonight, we have part 2 of the Youth Voices, which we had the other week. We missed last week. So the other week, and we heard about some of the challenges that young people face through the lens of Nina, Rosaline, and Leon from Western Sydney, if you joined us last time. So tonight, we'll be hearing from them again. It was really insightful, and they had some really good points that they were making, especially around, how they felt the discrimination that took place and so forth. So it was really good to hear that from young people and to get their feedback and their journey. So so we'll be looking at that, and also we'll be hearing from you both.
And all of us.
And what else? And what else, Trey, besides the two of you?
Up. We had a chat with our sister, Emelda Davis, about the upcoming state elections and why it's crucial that Pacific voices and votes are counted. She is running for the City of Sydney Local Government Council as a candidate for the Clover Moore team. So Emelda is a Pasefika woman, chairperson of the Australian South Sea Islanders Organisation. The local elections will be happening 4th of December. So, we've got to get in there and vote. And free West Papua, brother. Yes, indeed.
Free West Papua.
Yes.
100.
For sure. Thanks for joining us, bro. On to me? Yep.
Yes, what else do we have?
We've got
so much, right?
I know, there's so many things going on. And it's just exciting to be back. Some of our Matavai youth will be sharing their experience from the Global Day of Climate Action that happened a couple of weeks back. The youth talk about why they're getting involved in climate activism and fighting for climate justice. It isn't because, I'm so into it. In fact, our kids are making up their own minds to join in on the fight. Last week, you and I had a conversation, Trey. I don't know if you remember. In fact, Seb was there as well. And, you were saying something like, how do we create more awareness around climate activism or climate justice within the Pacific diaspora in New South Wales, in particular Sydney? And, you were right on the money there, because when we were at the Global Climate Action March, there were not many Pacific Islanders there at all. And I know that everyone, we're still coming out of COVID, but it'd be really interesting to try and understand why, people. So hopefully when you listen to some of the voices of young Pacific Islanders, Matavai youth, who were at the Global Day of Climate Action here in Sydney, maybe it will shine a bit more light on why they decided to get involved and why you should too.
Yeah. That's a great point. Thank you, Mary Jane. We also have our Oceania quiz tonight. Has something to do with famous Pacific Islanders. We also have what rocked your coconuts, and our segment that we have. And please share with us about what shook your coconut this week, if you want. No pressure. Also, we have what else have we got? We have we have our moonlight thoughts, and I think you ladies have some other things that you want to share about tonight. Quotes, is that right?
Yes, we have some quotes that we want to share as well. But I also wanted to share a bit about something that I got up to during the week. Don't worry, I behaved myself. This was a gathering.
Why did you behave yourself?
This was a gathering that took place earlier in the week, and it was in Parramatta City, and it was about bringing together creatives to talk about this global city. They want to turn Parramatta into a global city, include economy, nightlife, because when you travel around the world, you can, do a lot of things day and night, whereas here, post COVID, we're in bed by midnight or by 10. So, I guess it's part of the state's recovery plan. But the good thing is they were checking in with artists and creatives and multicultural groups to say, okay, so what do you want to see and what's going on? So I said, it's great that you're asking us, but we need to be more organized, and there needs to be systems, because a lot of our artists are making music and making the noise. And so the investment's coming into Western Sydney, but are we at that table? Are we making the decisions? So that's the questions we were asking. So things are starting to change. So, but I'll keep us all informed, and, I'm sure there'll be other people that would like to get involved in these conversations, because we need changes now. We need to make things happen. So that was exciting.
Yes, we do. And what about your quote, Trey? What's your quote for the week?
Well, my quote actually has to do with what I was talking about. So before I went to the meeting that day, I saw this image on the net, and I looked at it and I said, that's exactly how I feel. Up the top, this is all of us swimming by ourselves, and we're getting consumed in all the systems and structures. But if we organized ourselves like down the bottom and work together, we don't necessarily have to eat the big fish, but we have a better chance. So if that's a theme that's been running for most of us this week, so not a quote, but I think, collectivism, which is something that we do as island people. We always work together. It's never about I. And it's time that we influence Western systems and structures to work that way, because we still need a village. So I guess that's, in a roundabout way, that's my quote and my thoughts for the day.
Love it. Well, I had a couple that I wanted to choose from, but I'm going to either or. So I'm just going to choose this one because this stood out to me the most this week. I've been questioning a lot of the things that I've been doing. COVID has put me out of whack, as it has done for many people. So you may be hearing people say, what have you achieved so far this year, with 2 months left of the year? So I really liked how Maki replied to this. She said, I feel like this is honestly not the year for questions like this. People lost their jobs, lost their parents, lost their lives. It's absolutely okay to have achieved nothing of great significance this year. Just maintaining sanity in itself was an achievement. And for me, I second, third, fourth, fifth, I've had one of those weeks.
Amen.
We could be better. And I'm grateful for everything I have. I've got a great family, great community. I don't want to come off as being unappreciative of what I do have.
Amen.
Absolutely.
It's been hard.
A warm bed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Family.
Being alive.
And I'm
being
grateful.
Alive.
Just being alive, but at the same time, you plan things, and then because even though we're out of lockdown, we still have restrictions, and if you come close contact, casual contact, that kind of puts everything out of whack. So we've opened Matavai up, we have all these plans, but you know what? Sometimes it's just not going to go according to plan, and you just need to adjust and adapt and not be so hard on yourself. And I think my girl Trey helped me out yesterday when I was being hard on myself, that it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay to find things a bit hard at the moment. So that was
true.
So true.
Amen.
Thank you.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. I think mine is.
We look like we've got it together, right? When people see us, but everyone's going through things in their own way. We're all still in this same boat.
Yeah. And I would just, rather than reading a quote, I would just echo what you both said. And Mary Jane, that really struck something in me about being kind again to yourself, and if we like to think about, because we treat ourselves the worst at times. We are worst critic, the way that we, someone said, this has been repeated a few times in my thoughts in the last few weeks, and that's been, if you treated others like you treated yourself, or you allowed others to treat you the way you treat yourself, what would that be like? Because some of us are really mean to ourselves, and we don't give ourselves permission to just be and just to kind of let go of it and just go, I've had deadlines this week that I worked so hard to do, and then it was, getting this information out, projects, and then I couldn't do it because I was sick for the last few days. But I was up till 1 o'clock in the morning. I'd worked 19 hours to try and get these documents done. It was intense, and I put myself through that even though I wasn't feeling well. And until afterwards, and I thought about it, and today I feel better, and I completed it. I just thought, what the hell are you doing? Like driving yourself to that degree. Anyway, so thank you for sharing about being kind to ourselves. So
Okay, bring it in.
Yeah.
Let's give each other a hug. Hug.
And everybody out
Hugging
there,
you, everyone else, big hug. I know it looks like a creepy hug, but it's like a good hug.
love to you all, everybody.
Yes.
Love
Hope you're
yourself.
all okay. Yeah. What's coming up now, Trey? Oh, she's on
Trey, we
mute.
can't hear you.
Mute,
Oh,
girl.
I thought you guys were going to lip read. Our first interview is with two young people that we spoke with a few weeks ago, Leon and Nina. Incredible young people from Mount Druitt. They shared with us about their experiences as young Pacific people in the West. Have a listen to what they had to say.
Some issues, I think most of the issues that we spoke about were very personal to us and to, our, just our personal experiences of being a young person here in Pasefika, in Mount Druitt. Some of them would range from mental health, stigmas that we all encountered, how we were heavily portrayed within the media. Like, for example, we've had Jonah from Tonga, which is a comedy act to some, but to us it wasn't. It's actually offensive if you go down to it. We all policing relationships and how to improve that and so forth. I think all up it was a very good conversation, and just going over these issues was just, I think it was nice because it was also a good way for other big leaders such as Ed Husek to listen to. So yeah, I think it was just an amazing platform, an advocacy platform for us.
Just going off what Nina was saying, another thing we talked about was stereotypes in Western Sydney, like how other areas see Mount Druitt as lower class, and we don't get the same equality as other areas. But what I'm most proud of is the things that are the talents and the stuff that are coming out of Mount Druitt, the good things. But yeah, one issue that I thought was really, really tough was Nina was talking about how she was she wants to get in to a uni in the city or something, but she feels maybe she should stick to these areas in Western Sydney, not smart enough. People just see people from Sydney, Western Sydney, not smart enough or something like that. So I feel people from Western Sydney don't get enough credit for what we actually do. And I feel everyone that's raised in Mount Druitt brought up to be that we should settle for less. And I feel that's an issue that, with our generation these days. We're underestimated. But yeah.
Great points. And yeah, we definitely see that. It's Western Sydney is treated like a different class of people, and then Mount Druitt again a different class. It's all these layers of disadvantage and definitely not treated equally.
For me personally, I think I mentioned during the conference about policing relationships, because my background is more policing, and that's where I'm passionate about, what I'm passionate about. So For example, you know, we mentioned that we would love to see the police to work more with like our churches, because, you know, our faith is very strong to us, you know, the elders, because like the only time I remember seeing cops at church was when there was always something bad happening within the area. It was never something because we were doing something well, you know. It was always something, yeah, not good. And another thing is like teaching our young Pasefika people to learn how to speak to authority figures. I know that we're taught respect from a very young age, but when it comes to like uniformed people, we put up this wall that we either get very defensive or we get very scared. And so I feel like, you know, helping our young Pasefika people be aware of their rights, you know, their rights are very important. I feel like when you know your rights, you just have so much power, like to, you know how to speak to people, you know what you can stand for and so forth, and you know how to defend yourself within certain situations. And so like knowing the rights, knowing laws, even if it's just basic workshops where, you know, even, I don't know, like legal aid, or I think I'm asking for too much, but like, you know, lawyers come in and like teach our young people about laws and how to protect themselves. Because I feel like that's the biggest barrier. We don't know how to protect ourselves sometimes. And sometimes we think protecting ourselves is we tend to use fists, which, yeah, where we tend to use, like when we get angry or when we're in those situations, we think more of our fists. But no, that's not the way. We should be using more this. You know, we should be using more this, our mouths to sort of articulate and to sort of, you know, speak up to our authority figures. Obviously not in a disrespectful manner, but just in a very, you know, what's the word? Like a honest and respectful, you know, open conversation with the police. So yeah, and I think another thing that we spoke about heavily with mental health was seeing more mental health hubs within our area, because the statistics for suicide within the Pasefika community, especially our youth, is quite high. So seeing more mental health hubs that are more accessible and just more creative spaces.
Yeah, so me and Nina were talking last week just before the interview, and we're talking about how we used to attend like police workshops at like PCYC. They used to have like workshops where the police would come out, or like someone would, like an inspirational speaker, and just talk to the kids and interact and have like these, yeah, just like these fun days where the children can just go there and do whatever they want. But nowadays I think that it's like there's nothing really for the kids like that. So I feel like at this generation, kids are like brought up by the media and whatever they see on TV. Like right now, like the COVID, with all the police and riots, like everything that's going on, like the Black Lives Matter things that happened as well a couple of months ago. Yeah, just people protesting and like people against police. But I reckon if they had more of those workshops with the police and the community, things like our generation wouldn't be brought up like to hate the police or but the media just sees like Mount Druitt, like big islander guys, as like tough and violent, but yeah, just they don't really know that big islander guys are like the softest guys with the best heart. But yeah, like that's just how it is in Mount Druitt. Like yeah, everyone stereotypes Mount Druitt as like violent, and yeah.
Like for me, it was like all the issues that were happening actually like motivated me to sort of see what I can do to be more like aware, like, and to be more like, what I mean is to be more aware, not to be apathetic towards these issues, like especially in a political sense. Like for me, I kept telling myself, I cannot wait to vote. Like, you know, like I was just so excited, like writing down these points, like I can't wait. And for me, I used social media as a way to sort of like let my you know, frustrations out, but obviously in the very not in like anything, you know, just in a very like educational sense where I'm learning, and I want the audience with like around me or that are viewing my posts to also learn from. I also was able to like DM Ed Husek like on the side, like just, you know, and I even like some of my friends even started writing to their MPs, and it was good. It was very like empowering, like just turning like a negative into a positive type of thing. So yeah.
I just know that there's a lot of young people in the area that have things to say. Like they think that we don't have anything in Mount Druitt, but yeah, I think we have everything. Like family is everything, and Mount Druitt's one big family. So I think that we should all stand up together, stop the stereotypes and the views that people have on Mount Druitt, and like just speak up for our area and don't be afraid to take that extra step. So that's one thing I would want people to take from this.
I think like let's just continue to move forward, and I know that it's not a quick fix, but we just hope that these solutions that we've put forward is like to help us, you know, better our community, and to also better like, you know, the future, because we want to see more you know, more opportunities for our people.
So good to see. So good to hear them. Sorry, am I coming through okay?
You are coming through okay.
Okay, great. Well, I was just gonna say it's so good to hear their perspective, and it's interesting that this many years later, for somebody who's grown up all their life in Sydney, and see that this still continues. And you know, this also happened. I grew up in Newtown, and back then we were still the immigrants and so forth, and we had to go through all these challenges of going to school and being discriminated against and so forth. And I'm sure both of you can share to that. And it's interesting that to this very day, decades later, it still exists in such a way, and they've still got to, you know, stand up and work through this. And I think how important it is. It's great that they're speaking to it, that they're bringing it up and talking about it, and also from a solution-based perspective, you know, and really challenging those racial profilings and all those sort of things that they've had to encounter themselves. So it's encouraging to see that that's happening. But at the same time, I think we've got to do more as community, you know, leaders and those of us that have a lot of visibility and platforms. We've got to do more in ensuring and become tougher. And it's great to see that is happening, you know, conversations amongst ourselves, Mary Jane and Trey, and with others as well, that they're saying enough already. We're not going to take the crumbs. We're not going to be treated like this. We want to sit at the table and we want to be equal. That's all we are asking for, to be equal. And we're not going to tolerate anymore the way that we have in the past. And I think that that's an important thing for us to do and create that legacy for our young people.
I think also just before we broke up with the last lockdown, the weekend of, I had already been researching bringing in lawyers to talk to the kids at Matavai about their rights. Because what's happening is, you know, if our kids are getting apprehended or arrested, they don't know their rights. They don't know that they have the right to remain silent. You know, they don't know. So they're out of fear. They seem to say things they shouldn't be saying in that instance. So I think a solution that the kids brought up, the youth brought up just now, is bringing in people into our churches, into our youth groups that can educate our young people on their rights, and therefore educating older people too, because even I don't know, but I have that thing running around in my mind. If I was ever pulled up, I had the right to remain silent, things like that, because it is those little things that you say out of fear that can actually get you into trouble. And I've had that experience with, you know, relatives of mine that have been acting out of fear. The other thing that I really loved about what they said was mental health. We at Matavai as well, this time next year, or at the beginning of the year, we're putting in counselors. Churches need counselors. We need counselors to be at these places so that our kids, our people, our parents can talk things through. because we're all trying to make sense of the life that we're living right now. And can you imagine, you know, in another 6 months from now, after everything we've been through, we actually don't know where we're going to be at, to be honest. We can't plan ahead because everything is just so out of whack at the moment. Yeah, so I loved that about what the kids said, bringing solutions in. So I just, thanks for your great work, Trey. If you wanted to add to any of that, Trey.
Yeah, just proud of them. And, you know, we hope that we can activate and strategize, work together, you know, and this is all about changing systems because it happened 10, 20, 30 years ago. If we don't make changes now, it's going to continue to happen 10, 20, 30 years from now.
Be smarter. You got to be smarter. That's it.
Yeah, and work smarter. But thank you to Nina and Leon.
Yeah, just wanted to acknowledge that Trey was nominated for New South Wales Youth Worker of the Year. This was a little shot
beautiful
one Drew of Trey. As the Youth Worker of the Year, like Trey's been doing this for, you know, over 20 years. She's, you know, she's made it in hip hop along the way. There's so much Trey's done. I just wanted to acknowledge you for that, Trey.
Amen.
Thank you. I'm very blessed with the opportunity. And also we had JT Tavola, you know, he was nominated for Youth Worker of the Year award as well. And Moira Tifunga, Volunteer of the Year award. So I'm like, yay! The Fiji side of the islands are up in there. So it was good to see them nominated as well. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Congratulations to you, Trey, and congratulations to you all. So proud of you for all the work that, you know, recognition is important for the wonderful work, as Mary Jane said, that you've done and been part of. So next up, we have the Oceania quiz. So today's quiz is very straightforward. And the winner gets, drum roll. Have we got the prize?
Yes, I've got a Matavai t-shirt.
I thought you were going to model it. I thought you were just going to hold it up. I was going to say, and the prize is a Matavai t-shirt.
Moyata. I'm not wearing it, sorry. But
so we are giving away a beautiful, is it a red one or a black one?
Any color of your desire.
Any color of your desire. So
if you get this right, you get a t-shirt.
So the first person that guesses correctly, right? So this is very straightforward. And you just put it on the chat, right? So you ready? Who is the famous?
So
who is this famous Pacific Islander? Only going to show their eyes. Oh, okay. And the first person to answer in the comments, remember we're streaming on Matavai and Fiji Day page. So it's whoever comments the correct answer is the winner of this simple.
Oh, nice eyes.
Those are bedroom eyes. Ooh.
Those bedroom eyes.
No,
they look like very naughty eyes.
Oi, I don't think family can win the prize, Aaron.
Droopy and sleepy and kind of dangerous.
Yes. A serious?
Yeah, it's a conflict of interest. It's a conflict of interest. Family can't win.
Okay, family can't win.
But we're all related, so how do you define what is family and what's not?
I know, that knocks out a few people there. But yes, that was we'll come back with the answer, right?
They've all guessed it.
I know.
Everybody on the chat has guessed it. So
wait, there's more coming.
Ooh, Tiara said hungry eyes.
Tiara, I've got hungry eyes. Very nice. Aaron, large, please. What?
My dad.
Okay, so the answer is, you can go, Tim.
Matalassi's dad.
Yes, it is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And the first person that we have here on the chat was Matalassi Jessica Leota, who is a family member of Matavai. So you get a t-shirt anyway, my darling. So I'm going to give it to Sina Schwalger Young in Melbourne, my dear sister. You're right. Yes, it is. So we'll just get you to send your address. I'll PM you and we can get your address and I'll send you a Matavai t-shirt down ASAP. My little lover, Sina. Thank you. Cool. All right.
Next, Mary Jane.
Next up, Trey caught up with Waskam Emelda Davis. She's the chairwoman of the Australian South Sea Islanders, a very passionate resident of Pyrmont, Sydney. She's got strong links to the local community there, as well as a strong advocate, my accent coming through, for cultural diversity, advocate, and greater inclusion.
Efficacious.
Sorry, I shouldn't try and say
Advocacy.
big words. Anyway,
okay.
Emelda's running for City of Sydney Local Government Council as a candidate for the Clover team. When's the election, Trey?
December 4.
And we should be picking people that align with our beliefs. I'm picking someone that's going to be active in climate change and among other things. What about you two? Who are you picking? Who are you going to, Yeah,
definitely active, speaks up for climate change and investing in our youth and our communities out west.
Yes. What about you, Sev?
Same. I think climate should be on top of our agenda, since a lot of things are being taken care of quite well, but our government can do better, both state and federal.
So here's Emelda talking to us about why it's important for us to vote.
Hey Trey, it's a bit of a staged campaign shot here, but here I go in answering your 3 questions. Why should you vote? We live in a democracy here in Australia, and it's really important that people get involved from a grassroots level in our local councils. Council represent the people, and if you want to have your voice heard, then campaign and work with people that are like-minded and that have your values at heart. So why should you vote? Because it's important as a part of a democracy that we all participate in creating change and bringing greater community cohesion. Very cliche, but true. Election is a complex process, but at the same time, looking at the Electoral Commission website has a lot of information videos, hotlines, and written information that you can peruse in looking at how do you apply for running for council, state or federal government. So that's a very clear resource that you can access, the Australian Electoral Commission. And the other thing is also approach your local council. Get to know your councillors, get to know your mayor. It's all about grassroots and community-led, governance. So talk to those people and have a chat about how to apply for election. If there's someone there in particular that you align with or has, resonates with your values, talk to them, get to know them, have a coffee, and they'll assist you with the pathways of how to apply for either being on local council, state government or federal government. My priorities are marginalised community groups. Anyone who knows me, I'm big on community cohesion and working together in collaboration. So bringing a voice to those marginalised voices, in particular Australian South Sea Islanders, First Nations, Pacific and CALD community groups, culturally diverse peoples, is one of the main priorities in that we don't have enough seats at the table. So what does that look like, working with various committees across the City of Sydney, but also representing my community of Pyrmont, which is a very strong priority as we need to bring the narrative to the people. So that's going to be one of the biggest challenges for me in finding the balance and what does that look like, but also building on the great work of Clover Moore and the City of Sydney Team Clover for over 17 years of continuous beautifying and climate change action, as well as, a safer space for families and businesses to thrive, especially, and rebuilding the entertainment, nightlife, cafe economies. These are all important priorities, and it's about juggling act in trying to maintain and put forward those very important issues for community at general.
Amazing. Such a powerhouse. Go Team Clover more. And for information about what Emelda stands for, you can go to www.elections.nsw.gov.au. So remember December 4, it's coming up. Go down and vote. If you're not going to be in Sydney or in your area on that day, you can go online. It's I vote, but so you don't have to go in a person. So please look that up, so even if you're not going to be here, you can still vote online. And there's postal vote. So I actually sent away for mine. It's coming in the mail. I'll post it and send it off. So I'm going to vote before that date. So go to the website. And we need more of us in there. So start thinking, who's going to run for elections?
One would be nice if she makes it in. Yes, it would be nice to see her in council for Sydney.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm having a blinking attack. Can you tell that I'm blinking 100 times in a minute? No? No? All right. So next up, it is this time of the night. What rocked your coconuts? What's rocked your coconuts about, Sev?
I thought Trey was going to go first. Yeah, go first.
Well,
what is it about?
So much. I tell you, I think, we spoke about it before, but the time thing, I seriously walk around here going, what day is it again?
I know.
And forgetting that I've done, I did something this morning and I'm like, did I do that today or yesterday?
Wow.
And because, I do so much, right? I've got many hats, so I can switch them all in a day. And then it's just that's rocking my coconuts. I think I need to go to the place of coconut trees to address that. Over to you, Steph.
We actually can now, can't we? We can go to Fiji because they've opened their borders.
December 1st.
Sort of. Maybe I should mention that is rocking my coconuts.
Yes.
Should I mention that? Okay. So look, we've got the same issue now with Queensland, where Queensland is acting like it's a different country, asking for you to get a vaccine test before you fly to Queensland or go to Queensland. You got to get that. Costs you $150, and they're 150 plus. And they're talking about it today because it's confusing people. It's like the rules that you have to fly to other countries, and it costs you more to go and do the test than it does to buy a friggin' airline ticket. So it's a bit mad, right? Anyway, that really rocked my coconut. But also, Fiji is the same deal. So they have not been clear on the changes. They'd put out that that the borders were open from the 11th of December, and we could start flying then. But the messaging was very vague as far as who actually could do that. So some of us who did decide to fly over got caught up in that, and so we've had to make changes, right? So I saw a family where the parents and the parents and the kids, and the parents could fly because they hold a Fiji passport, and the kids couldn't because they hold an Australian passport. Apparently, till the 1st of December, you still need to get a permit. You cannot enter Fiji. Everybody's thinking about going to Fiji. You cannot go into Fiji at this stage from the 11th till the 1st without getting a permit. That is if you do not have a Fiji passport. If you have a Fiji passport, you can certainly go, but anybody else needs a permit to come into the country. For what reason? Who knows? Because it makes no sense at all. I could have flown to America. I could have flown anywhere else in Europe, and Fiji is asking for this silly permit that means absolutely nothing. And it basically cracked my coconut.
It smashed the coconuts.
I don't have my coconuts here. They're downstairs. But, cracking your coconuts, that's pretty serious.
Yeah.
So wait till the 1st. Wait till the 1st, because you can't really go to Fiji, even though they tell you, yeah, everybody get on. No.
Well, isn't who's the famous lady that's doing the Fijian tourism ads now? What's her name? She's Australian.
She's in Pitch Perfect, yeah?
Yes. Why am I
Can't
looking
remember.
to the side? There's no one here. Somebody. I saw it
Did
today.
someone see it? Anyway, someone tell
What
us
did
that
it say?
listening.
Yeah, I
What
forgot
did
her
it
name.
say?
So she's doing the Fiji tourism campaign at the ads for So she's somewhere in beautiful Fiji, but the people from Fiji can't even get in. But anyway, go figure. Because my mom just
actually,
back
my
from
daughter said
Scotland.
that to me.
Yeah, well, my mom just got back from Scotland via London, via LA, via Fiji, via come back here to Sydney. She didn't even have to quarantine, but you can't even go to Queensland. Australia.
Wow.
Do you know how dumb that sounds? So dumb. Anyway, what rocked my coconuts this week, I'm going to take it back to just politics, hey. COP26. Moi Moana has returned with the Pacific Climate Warriors. They've come back from Scotland, and she said to me that nothing has changed. In fact, it seems like things have only gotten worse. And that's from a young person coming from the inside. So there was more attention this year given to the COP, which is fantastic than previous years. And they really highlighted Indigenous youth this year, Pacific Islanders, because usually they're highlighting Greta Thunberg. Sorry, I've forgotten the name. But this time it was a lot onto the Indigenous people. But there were a lot of promises made, and then there were a lot of promises broken. Scott Morrison was one of them. Did you know that Australia took out the top dishonour at COP26? They were singled out. They won the Colossal Fossil Award for being for the most appalling performance at COP26. The conference again, the award was created by the global organization Climate Activist Network, also known as CAN, and it's created to spotlight countries that lack ambitious climate targets and policies. And Australia took out the top dishonor by the end of the summit. What a shame.
Well done, Australia.
So embarrassing.
That number two, what rocked my coconuts was the fact that the delegates, the countries, including our darling Pacific Island people that made their way some 5 days to get there, they were outnumbered by fossil fuel lobbyists. So the whole thing, there was like an aggressive, big business approach to climate negotiations. That rocks my coconuts too. What's the point, really? So again, the power is in us, the people, and take it back to the vote. Also, free West Papua. Every year they should be there, and we all should be numbered with them, behind them. We need to make that be seen more. Everything that affects Pacific, we need to unite to amplify the voices. And what we can do, if we're 18 and above, is vote. Vote. State elections the 4th of December, the federal elections next year. So that's what rocked my coconut, but I've given you a solution for it. I don't know what to say about Fiji. Sorry, Sev. But
do you want me to say something about Fiji?
Are you going to get in trouble for it? I just don't want you to get in trouble.
I don't care. I really don't care, because it's very political in Fiji, and this whole bandwagon of people, over 30 of them, I believe 36. Some countries had 2. I think New Zealand had maybe 3 or 4 or something like that. Fiji had 36. What the hell for? And they're creating all this mess by carrying all these people over there. They're going to a climate event, and here they are with a busload, with a plane load of people to go over there. I don't know what they're doing over there. Is it a holiday break for them? Is it a bonus package by the Fiji government to take people along like that?
I think it was the rugby. Maybe it was the rugby. Wasn't it rugby?
It's pretty pathetic. And this is using taxpayers' money, spending it like that. And don't forget, we've got our prime minister. He gets when he leaves the country, he gets $3,000 a day. So the more that he can stay out of the country, the more money he gets. It's pretty pathetic that the state of the country that's in, and people are behaving like that they are continuously just flaunting it like this. And the people of Fiji have had enough of it. People have seen it. We are not afraid to step up and speak up to it, because it's pathetic, and they really should change. Vote them out.
I hope you can get into the country after all that, Sev. I've heard about how this all works.
Well, I'm here.
But you want to be over there. You want to go there?
Yeah. But who knows what they were thinking, and I just pray that they got some climate finance, because, you know, there was a lot of talk about climate finance, and I pray they got the money and that it's going to the people and the sustainable changes that our island needs, you know. But big up to Reverend James Bagwan, and I saw that there was a young person, Dylan Carver, so the two that went from Fiji, you know, thank you to them both. I'm not sure if there are others from Fiji. Thank you for going and standing up for us.
Yes.
Can I just add to that? Sorry.
Amazing young people.
One thing I want to add to that is, while they're over there, you know, this is the craziness of politics, right? But while they're over there, we have the beautiful Lenora, who's also a member of parliament, cleaning up the waterways. Like, she, you know, she didn't leave the country, but she was actually doing more than 30-something of them traveling over there. For what purpose? If anybody should have been sent, they should have sent her, right, Trey? She is just an amazing woman that does all these things. She's on the ground picking up rubbish and you know, cleaning up the waterways during this time. Anyway, enough from me. Sorry, let's carry on.
Well, you know that picture that I showed earlier? That's the change that's required. And, you know, change is in the air. But you guys, our last interview for tonight is with some Matavai youth. So they're like actioning, they're talking the talk and they're actioning the change. So they share in this segment about why they are fighting for the islands. They recently attended the Global Day of Climate Action in Sydney on Gadigal lands, where our Matavai kids led the entire march. And Mary Jane, they were on the news. I was so proud of them standing on the front lines, leading everyone down to Secular Key. Our people. What was that like, Mary Jane? I was so emotional. I couldn't come. I was watching. What was it like?
No, my main concern was that, being Pacific Island, we're in the front and we had our Aboriginal sister and brothers at the back behind us. So as we're on the ground with our knives, you see, when Samoans went to war, the young maidens, so the Taupo went ahead of the war, right? So our girls were with their nifo'oti. So as this was happening and the girls were clearing the way with their knife, I noticed my sister, the Aboriginal sister behind me, and I went up and I said, I hope this is absolutely no disrespect to you that we're in front of you for this march. And then I explained to her the cultural symbolism of us being here in front. It's to kind of clear the way for them to come through. So then she was like, oh no, sister, this is brilliant. You know, she said that, you know, what makes it even more amazing is that women were leading the march. So this is us making our way from Hyde Park down to Circular Quay on Gadigal lands. I hope you enjoy this next segment.
We're rising in your name, Pasefika. We will fighting for our place, Pasefika. Come see what I can see and dream what we could be. One love.
I just can't stand here and do nothing when I know that the Pacific Islands are sinking. So I feel like my presence there just made a statement to the world. Speak for the voiceless, be the voice to those who can't do much. So that's the reason why I was there.
Because they're the next generation, they're our next leaders, and for them to have a foundation now is to set our future and have our kids be more knowledgeable in the future generations to come.
Our generation is the next leaders coming up, and I think it's important to get educated on these kind of things because it's our home and it's where we were brought up. Like me, I'm a Samoan born, and like seeing our island sink makes me really sad and really hurt, because not only our people are losing their homes, but we are also losing our culture and the land that our ancestors fought for, and I think that's really sad.
I'm fighting for my islands because I want to wake up every day knowing that the future of my culture is safe. I want to know that my home, where my roots lie, won't be washed away by the very ocean that surrounds us. The ocean that is actually the protector and the reason for connecting us to our islands. But if it is disturbed, it can also be the storm that takes our islands down with it. I fight because we are not the reason why our oceans are awakening. but we are rather the victims of a climate crisis that has been ongoing. A climate crisis that has been caused by selfishness, and I fight because I know that if our ancestors were here today, they would do the same.
Because if we don't, then our generation won't really be like educated, and we won't know like what our culture is like, and our learning stops at our parents and it stops at us. And if we can't teach our kids, then their kids can't teach their kids, and then our culture will just be gone.
As Pacific Islanders, we will lose our islands, and with that we lose many cultures that are very vulnerable and very valuable.
Climate change is, directly affecting us already. It's an important issue for everyone, but Pacific Islanders and most Indigenous people are already suffering at the hands of the grubby government.
Yeah.
It's the root of who we are, our homelands. Think of your parents, your grandparents, any of your ancestors. A lot of the things that are rooted in us are rooted in the country, in our homeland. So for that to be swept away, it's taking integral things away from, our intrinsic beings.
See what I can see and dream what we could be.
Favorite moment was the dancing, watching you guys portray our culture in front of people that have never seen it before, and just watching the smiles on their faces, knowing that this island actually exists.
Actually physically doing something. You hear about COP26 and all these events where world leaders, group together, but when you're stuck at home, you're kind of, and you want to do more, but, so going to the streets and actually, getting people who are sitting down to look at us, to hear the chants, to see the signs, to have the news cover it, it reinstates it in people's minds.
Being in front, leading protests, and showing everybody like our culture and why it's so important to see.
It was really empowering to know that we were leading the whole march, and it was just great because us Pacific Islanders were in the front line, and it really shows that we are at the front line of climate change. So it kind of gave that metaphor that we need help from we need climate action.
I think the whole day, because that was actually my first protest, and just being there, it felt so empowering. There's a Samoan proverb that goes "Eaule ina ilawa tamatai," and that definitely was put into place today, because the rally was actually led by the young Pacifica women.
I wanted our voices to be heard. I'm fighting for the people who can't fight, for our Pacific Islanders who are home, and everyone around the world. It's just an action that I can do. We talk a lot about climate change, but actually doing something, it makes a difference. Yeah. Just speak your truth. Speak what's on your heart and your mind. Whatever you have, share it. The world needs to know. You carry something that's so valuable that other people need to hear.
Wow, so beautiful. I got goosebumps all the way through that. And when we get that, that's an indicator that our ancestors are there, right? So
yeah.
I think
strong.
because of the story behind a lot of the kids that we see, just like you, Trey, and all the kids that you meet along the way, I know their stories. I know how hard it is for them to speak, and for them to have a platform to be even able to share what they're thinking is so important.
Mary Jane.
The ancestors so happy, aren't they? Proud, that this is the work that you do, the work, that our communities are contributing to, so that our youth our leaders there, you know.
Yeah.
So just
Can I just acknowledge? Yeah. Can I just acknowledge you, Mary Jane, for your leadership? As you know, that was so moving, and to see the leadership that you have in this, your passion, and just to hear those young people speak, oh, that just makes me emotional. But thank you for your leadership in that, and let's continue to do this and support each other. It's just, I just want to acknowledge you for your leadership around this.
Thank you, Seville. I'm by no means at all perfect. I'm not, I'm still learning as I go. But I think one thing I do want to say is, when we were colonized in the Pacific, the thing the colonizers did was they segregated us. They put wedges between us. They divided us. Now, this is the time when we forget about whatever we have against someone else, organizations against organizations, islands against islands, whatever it is, the differences that we have to put it aside. Because when we don't and we're divided, the enemy wins. We're not going to be able to progress. We're not going to be able to save our islands if we're not united. And that's where humility comes in. That's when our culture comes in. That's when we lean on the values that our ancestors left us. What were they? I know for me as a Samoan, humility, respect. I don't always show respect, but definitely humility. So I really feel like it's important that we unite somehow or another.
Absolutely.
We have to save the
Amen.
And I think that's happening, because this spirit of unity, people are just fed up of what's going on, and people are standing up, that have never stood up before. So it's happening in the air. People want change, so hopefully, there's ways that we can continue to connect and strengthen in numbers,
That's the power that we have when we're together, eh? We're the biggest ocean continent. We say this every single time we're here. The power is within us. And I guess that leads us into our last segment.
Take me to a dream where there's only dancing, romancing. Moonlight tango under your spell. We're only two could share that romance and moonlight. Fijian moonlight.
Fijian moonlight. Oh, gorgeous girl.
Hi. And Villa. Amazing.
There he is. They have been fighting. So what are your moonlight thoughts?
Who? The kids or us?
Yeah, the kids.
Yeah, what kind of...
Oh.
I hope not. No, I don't know. Maybe later.
Moonlight thoughts. Moonlight thoughts, Sev.
My moonlight thoughts is, we are still going through this transition of coming out of all this that we have been through, and it continues to be important how we take care of ourselves, being generous and being graceful and being kind with ourselves, and being able to do that for others also. I think it's a really important time to continue to reach out and be with each other, support each other. It's starting to come into that season where we run around so much, but this is an important time to make sure that we take care of ourselves and each other.
So true. And every day is different, so take it easy, still stay safe. COVID still around, we still have to take care of ourselves and each other and our families, and take it day by day. Some days we're going to get it and some days we won't get through it, so just it's all good,
it's all good.
Be good to yourself.
Yeah, I second and third everything. Just be safe. I'm just going to go back to just how important it is to vote. Really think about who you're going to vote for if you can. If you're eligible to vote, guys, we need to vote. We need to stand up and be counted. We're worthy. Like what was it Leon that said, some people look at us and stereotype us. But we don't need those stereotypes to stick, because we can set ourselves free from that. And doing
Amen.
this in one way, we need people to lead us that will take us and count all of us, that we are all equal, we're all the same, and that climate justice is important, and climate change is also very, very important, among many other things. So that's my moonlight thought. God bless you all.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for everyone who's listened in tonight and participated and shared these moments with us. I believe I'll just say my goodbyes. Yes, are we saying our goodbyes, right? We've gone over time. And your show's on next week as well, right, Mary Jane? Your Matavai is back next week, is that right?
No, we were back 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so you're already back, see?
Really?
Told you.
No, kidding. You're not supposed to know. You don't have to know what's going on in my life.
I'm reading the notes. I was reading those notes.
How dare you not know?
Notes.
No, we were back last week, but life's as normal, not really. What's normal? What's normal in 2021? Who knows?
Yeah, it's not even the new normal, because we're still trying to figure out what that new normal is. So all we can do is take it day by day and be be kind to ourselves. So take care, everyone. Love you guys. God bless you all.
Into it.
Here's a little bit of entertainment to take you out. See you next time.
Mother.